Hey everyone, Mr. MC here. This is a guide for Nurburgring 24h with the Toyota FT-1. And let's get this started by mentioning that because this is such a big track, I am going to be going in a bit of a rapid fire sort of pace as we do the lap guide. That way we are not here all day. But anyways, brake balance was at -1 and we're on the racing medium tires. So if you haven't yet, bring yourself towards the left side of the track as you want to brake as you reach the 150-meter board. I'll have it highlighted right here. I brake just as I start to pass it, so you want to brake as much as you can for a short while. Nice and easy off of the brakes as you turn in. Be especially careful on the throttle because it's very easy to generate a lot of wheel spin and end up spinning out. When the track piece on the right ends, that's where you're going to use a little bit of braking, bring yourself towards the left, and brake when the curb on the left ends. Nice and easy off of the brakes and get on the throttle as soon as you can. Then stay on the left side of the track as you want to brake when the curb on the left starts. So brake right around here, get as close as you can to the curbs on the right, and gently get on the throttle. It's very easy to lose control there. The S's can be taken flat out, but you might want to do a little lift off of the throttle to guarantee that you don't hit the gravel. Then bring yourself towards the right, brake before the 100-meter board, ease off the brakes as you turn in, bring yourself towards the left and use a little bit of braking, just trying to fine-tune the car's direction. Again, we're doing this in a rapid fire sort of pace, so apologies if this is going a little too fast. Then bring yourself towards the right. You're braking before the 50-meter board, so you want to do a quick burst of braking, just trying to go through the chicane as fast as you can. Then bring yourself towards the right, and you're looking for the dry patch of grass that is on the left as you want to brake just before you pass it. Be especially careful on the throttle as it's a little bumpy over here. Start to slow down when the pit wall on the right ends. Be nice and gentle on the throttle as you're now going downhill. When you pass the sign that is on the left, that's when you want to start to turn in. Do a little lift off of throttle, bring yourself towards the right, and brake when you reach the dry patch of grass that is on the right. Brake hard for a short moment, and you actually need to do a lot of braking control. That way you don't end up going off track. Quick burst of braking as soon as you start to make the right turn. Same for the left turn. Quick burst of braking before the tarmac changes color. That's when you want to start to slow down. Be especially careful through here. Very easy to lose control. Then bring yourself towards the left side of the track. You're going to make a little jump, and shortly after the jump, that's when you start to turn in and lift off of throttle. In a moment, we'll fast forward through this. There we go. You can do a little lift off of throttle as you start to make the left turn, as this car is really good with high-speed corners, and then brake before the curb on the left ends. You can actually start to slow down just a little bit later than I do, so about a hair or two later. Just trying to be really smooth here. Very easy to spin out once again. Then you're going to look for a dry patch of grass that is on the right, as that is your brake marker. I'll highlight it right here. There we go. That's when you start to slow down. Quick burst of braking, and then as you go through these series of turns, that's when you want to gradually slow down. Be especially easy on the throttle so you don't spin out. Just trying to carry as much speed as possible while retaining control of your car. Then for this upcoming left turn, you can use just a little bit of braking, and then look for the writing on the ground as that is your next brake marker. So start to slow down as you pass that writing on the tarmac. Nice and easy on the throttle. When you pass the last sign on the left, start to slow down. Nice and easy on the throttle once again. These S's can be taken flat out, but you might want to do a little lift off of the throttle if you need to. Just as the curb on the right starts, you want to start to slow down just a little bit, trying to maintain as much speed as possible, and then start to slow down just as the grass on the right, or on the left actually, changes from green to brown. Slow down as much as you can so you don't slide around like how I do. So just be nice and careful on the throttle. When the curb on the right is about to end, that's when you start to slow down. And then you're going to do the same thing except for the curb that is on the left. So just before it ends, that's when you start to slow down. Be careful on the throttle through here as it's a little bumpy. Eventually, you want to bring yourself towards the left side of the track, and you're going to look for the Yokohama sign as you want to brake before you pass it. So start to slow down right around here, brake hard for a short moment, slowly ease off of the brakes as you turn in. Carefully get on the throttle, it's a little bumpy, and the last thing you want to do is end up understeering onto the grass. So let's go ahead and fast forward through this. Look for the end of the curb that is on the right as you want to start to turn in just before it ends, and do a little lift off of throttle. Just try not to touch the grass so you don't end up losing control. Then bring yourself towards the left and brake before the curb on the left starts. So slow yourself down for a while, just trying to bring yourself towards the inside of the turn over time. Nice and easy on the throttle. Look for the happy little tree that is on the left. So the very last tree, make sure you wave hello to it and brake just as you start to pass it. Be careful about entering the carousel too fast so you don't end up spinning out or getting spit out of the carousel. Just be nice and easy on the throttle. This upcoming left turn can be taken flat out, but as you pass the start of the curb that is on the right, that's when you want to start to slow down. A little bit of throttle control needed. Slow yourself down a bit more for this right turn, just trying to carry as much speed as possible. Lift off of throttle for this right turn and start to slow down just as that turn ends. Lots of throttle control needed to retain control of the car. Brake before the curb on the left ends, and then look for the Yokohama sign on the right as you want to brake before you pass it. So slow yourself down right over here, bring yourself towards the left side of the track, brake before the gray curb on the left ends, brake before the curb on the left ends once again. Be a little easy on the throttle, bring yourself towards the right. This one's really hard to spot, but brake just as the grass on the right changes from green to brown. So you want to use a quick burst of braking. Be especially careful on the throttle, it's very easy to lose control over here. Then brake just before you make the jump. There we go. Nice and easy on the throttle. You might want to do a little lift off of throttle through here to have the car turn in a little bit more, and then you can easily go flat out through here. Look for the digital flag that is on the right. I'll have it highlighted in a moment. There we go. Start to brake just as you pass it, but don't use all of your braking power. Just bring yourself towards the right and slow down a little bit more as you make this left turn. And then look for the second dry patch of grass that is on the right as you want to slow down after you pass it. Be especially careful through the mini carousel, very easy to go into it too fast. Brake before the curb on the left ends, and then do lots of throttle control as you make your way onto the final long back straight. And we'll go ahead and fast forward through this in a moment. There we go, going hyper speed. And then for the final braking zone, brake just as the curb on the right end. So this is where you start to slow down as much as you can. Ease off of the brakes as you turn in and carefully get on the throttle. Whew, that was a bit of a long one. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the strategies, which will begin in a moment. Alright, here we go. We're doing 2 laps at Nurburgring 24h with the Group 3 cars. We're only working with the racing medium tires, and there is no mandatory pit stops. So this is a pretty easy 0-stop race. Fuel is a ×2, so fuel is not an issue. Tire wear is a ×4. There is a bit of tire wear, but as long as you drive smoothly, tire wear should not be an issue. And pretty much the main point of this race is to survive, because Nurburgring 24-hour, especially the Nordschleife part, is especially difficult. And then you have this time of day, which is a bit weird. And it actually makes the Nordschleife part even harder because you have to go through patches of fog. So that's going to mess up some of the braking points. I know I had that bit of a struggle when I was doing this race. And yeah, it's just trying to push yourself and your car as much as you can while trying not to bin it. So that is a bit of a tall order for a race like this. And once again, the time of day makes this race a bit more difficult. And just try to be as careful as you can. If you're able to stay on the track, you'll probably end up picking a couple of free positions. And for example, right there, I touched the grass and luckily I was able to recover the car and not lose too much time. So hopefully you're as lucky as I am, because there are other cases where people may unfortunately may not be so lucky. And you want to try to get your passes done at the GP section of the track, because once you get onto the Nordschleife, the track narrows down to where you can barely fit 2 cars of this size. So it becomes ridiculously hard and dangerous to get any sort of passing done. At that point, you pretty much have to rely on the car ahead being gracious to you and letting you pass them by having them slow down for you, or they just straight up end up binning it. It's going to be one of those two, and I mean, there can be some good racing, but just trying to get past people through the Nordschleife, it's really difficult, really dangerous. So you want to time your attacks correctly, and hopefully it's fast and clean and no one ends up binning it. And it can even happen to the best of us, where we make a little mistake and it just ends up getting amplified, as unfortunately for this Ferrari driver, it just barely touched the grass and it just had the car spin around. So yeah, you got to be really careful to here, because one little mistake can be catastrophic. But anyways, let's go on over to places to overtake and the penalty serving zones, as there are 2 penalty serving zones. The main straight, where the start finish line is, one of the better places to get the overtake done, because you're in the GP section and this is a pretty long straight, so you can take advantage of the slipstream, although you can only really do this technically once, because this is a 2-lap race. Here is the first penalty serving zone in the GP section. You don't lose too much time if you have to serve a penalty here, and this is, well, the only place you want to make sure that you have to serve your penalties, because the last one is at the Nordschleife. It's at the back straight, and you lose about 10 trillion years if you have to serve a penalty over there. Then going on to the back straight of the GP section, it is possible to go for an overtake through here. Once again, take advantage of the slipstream and try to get the pass done just before you have to go through the chicane. So this is the chicane over here. Just try to go through it in a single file line. Hopefully you got the pass done. And then we entered the Nordschleife section, where it becomes ridiculously difficult to get a pass done. So after the Flugplatz, where you make the little jump, this is one potential spot where it is possible to try to go for a move, but once again, with the track being so narrow, it becomes pretty dangerous to try to go for the move. Either get the inside line to force the other car to back out, or just get ahead of them. Either way, you don't want to go too wide to that left turn, because disaster will happen if there is a battle going on through there. So the next possible spot to try to get the pass done is through the castle chain. So this is the back straight, or one of the multiple back straights. This is the one that eventually leads to the carousel. So this is another spot where it is possible to go for a move, but once again, just try to make it quick, because once again, this track is narrow, and then you have a somewhat sharp left turn coming up. So you want to try to get the pass done before you have to go through that left turn. So this is the left turn that I'm talking about right here. Try to get the pass done before it. And here is the last penalty serving zone coming up. It is at the back straight of the Nordschleife section. and try not to get a penalty and serve it here because you will lose so much time and speed. This is also the last best place to go for a move, especially with the use of slipstream, but you do want to time it just right so you can get the pass done, but make sure that you don't give the car that you just passed enough time to try to re-overtake you before the actual straight ends. But anyways, that's pretty much it for this guide. This is a bit of a long one. This race is actually kind of short, so this is around a 16.5-minute race. Of course, this will vary depending on the pace of your lobby because the pace here will be extremely different. But that's all for this guide. This is Mr. CA. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you to Playseat for supporting the channel as well. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Shout out to People Alone for finishing 3rd place in the meme car known as the Z4. I'll see you guys in the next video.